Welcome back. As promised, we're joined by Senators General Manager Bryan Murray. Thank you very much for the time, sir. I know you're as anxious to kick this season off as everybody else. The preseason is in the books here. Did you get to see what you had hoped to see throughout the preseason?
Yeah, we're all glad it's over. We played 8 games. We had a chance, of course, to see a lot of our young players. We didn't have a full lineup very many nights, but that was a good thing. I think we hope the veterans got enough, and we know that the exposure for the younger group that we had sent to Binghamton for the most part was a good one, and there's some real promise.
You had some decisions to make on some young players, and let's talk specifically about Jared Cowan and Patrick Wierkosh, both players coming close to making the hockey club, but both being sent back to, in Patrick's case, the American Hockey League, and in Jared's case, back to the Western Hockey League. It's pretty clear the future looks very bright with those two young men.
Yeah, both of them probably could have made the team if we wanted to make that happen this year. They were very close. The concern you always have with young people, Gord, is that do they get enough ice time? Do they develop, and do they reach their potential within a year or two? And we both, the whole staff, the coaches in particular, felt that with Jarrett in particular, could play here, could play a role, but wouldn't in big games get maybe the exposure and experience that he needed. We felt going back, he'll play 28, 30 minutes back in junior hockey. He has an opportunity in all likelihood to play for Team Canada, the World Juniors, and we think his skill overall will develop, you know, as far as puck handling, being an important player, probably playing a little bit on the power play in junior where that would not have happened. And I think that really encourages the growth of the player for the future. So you're right, he's a big person with a chance to be very good down the road, and we didn't want to get in the way of that. Patrick Wierkoch in reverse is basically gone to the American Hockey League. He can be recalled during the course of the year, and his skill level is real good. It's just a matter of his competition level in the defensive zone. And when he gets there and he gets playing in the American Hockey League, who knows? He may be back partway through the year.
Zach Smith is a young player who's found a comfort zone all over the ice, it appears. For the last 2 seasons, he's been the last cut at training camp. He finished the year with your hockey club, had a strong performance in the playoffs, and looks like he's gotten bigger and stronger and has made the team, and for good reason.
Yeah, he could have played the second half of last year if we'd had a position for him, but we did find one late in the year with all the injuries we had going into the playoffs, and Zach, I thought, played very well in the playoffs, and he's come to camp with real purpose. He's going to be an important player here for, we hope, a long time, but he is a bigger, stronger, competitive person. And he's a matchup type of player that somewhere down the road he'll find a niche and be playing against awfully good players in this league. But for now, we think he's a real useful guy that can play defense, be responsible, but also kick in some goals for us.
Bryan, 5 months is an awful long time to play in between games. During the offseason, what did you focus in on? What did you identify as an area of improvement for this team?
Well, number one, Gord, when I looked at the team at the end of last year and I talked to our players, I think the handicap we played under at playoff time was immense.
Sure.
And with the injuries we had to key people, really set us back. But we really believed that we had the core of a good hockey team. And I believe that. We wanted to upgrade our mobility in the back end. We knew with Erik Karlsson coming that was going to be addressed in one area. Sergei Gonchar was the free agent we targeted, and we really felt that he would add in that area as well. And Chris Campoli, given an opportunity and getting healthy, hopefully can be the other guy back there that for the time being at any rate can really address one of the needs that we had, and that was to get the puck going out of our own end. But beyond that, I thought our team, you know, Zach coming in, but our team overall was a deep enough team to be competitive, and I believe that to be the case.
Special teams are so important to games nowadays, and your power play last year, Bryan, ranked 21st in the league, and with the addition of Sergei Gonchar, it would appear, based on what we saw in preseason at least, that ranking can go nowhere but up.
Well, that's the hope and the plan, of course, is that when you go get a player like Sergei, you have, as we mentioned, Erik Karlsson here. You'd like to think that In the NHL today, the back end is so important because the zone is a little bigger now. The mobility on the blue line makes a huge difference. I didn't like the look of it in training camp or pre-season, but I really think that is going to be a big difference come regular season. We'll be a threat, and I think two things happen. You have a chance to score goals, but the other team has to kind of lay off a little bit sometimes too. They won't take as many penalties on us maybe if our power play is good. And I think that allows our skilled players to do more 5-on-5 as well.
Perhaps something that maybe is not as well known about Sergei Gonchar as perhaps should be is the fact that he's been around 15 years, was quite a leader in Pittsburgh. He just simply, and his personality add to the leadership group of this hockey team.
Yeah, he's a terrific man. I didn't know Sergei very well myself other than as a player, but when you meet him and you realize that he really cares about the group, that he's a good person to deal with on a day-to-day basis. He always seems to be always upbeat, and he does fit in with our group. And I watch our veteran guys around him right now, and there's a real good feeling. And I really think that he addresses the need off the ice as well as on the ice.
Parity is a buzzword, or has been a buzzword in the NHL for the last couple of seasons, and it's no different this year, Brian. Just a quick thought on the Northeast Division, if you will. It's going to be, again, extremely tight, I would suspect.
Yeah, I think anybody that's picking would probably take the Bruins right now in the Northeast. It looks like they've made a couple of additions. They're big and strong, and I think Horton's going to be a good player for them, and Lucic is going to come back and be healthy and be strong. I think Buffalo are always a contender with Lindy Ruff coaching and Ryan Miller, in the net for them. I think we regard him as one of the better goaltenders in the league. But I think we fit right in that twosome. I'd like to hope that be the case. And Montreal are going to be a contending team. I think Toronto will improve. Right. But I really like the look of our team with the top two guys that I mentioned.
All right, Brian. Thank you for this. Good luck this year.
Thanks, Gord.